Hello, I'm Pastor Carl Johnston with the Atlanta, Ebenezer, and Hopedale United Methodist Churches, the Prairie Winds Parish. This is Friday, and for our devotion today, we come to verse 5 of Psalm 100. Verse 5 reads, "For the Lord is good, his steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations." Today, we're looking at this last verse. The Lord is good. It talks about the nature of God. Sometimes it's important that we take some time to think about God, to think about the things of God. This is called in seminary theology, the study of the things of God. And for some of us, this is one of the most fun and exciting things we get to do. For other people, they kind of look at us as though we're kind of strange. But how we think about God really makes a difference, because how you think influences how you feel, and how you feel influences what you do. So our thinking about God is very important. And this verse tells us that the Lord is good. His basic nature, God's basic nature, is that of goodness. Goodness to us, goodness to all creation. It is the intention, the basis of his existence, to be good. And that's important that we think about that as this weekend comes, that the Lord is good and his steadfast love endures forever. That one kind of trips us up sometimes. The idea that God's love for us can endure forever. Because, especially as we come to this weekend of Mother's Day, I think all of us, if we're being honest, have or can remember those moments when we had moments and meltdowns as children, and why our parents put up with us. Why did they continue to deal with us? Well, they dealt with us because they loved us, and they knew something else. They knew that we were children, and they knew that they were adults. And they didn't confuse that. At least my parents didn't. There was never any question in my mind as a child who was the adult and who was the child. Mom and Dad knew what they were doing. And if they didn't know what they were doing, they never let on that they didn't. Their love for us endured, even when we were having our issues, even when we were having our terrible twos and in the teenage years and everything else that kids go through. Our parents continued to love us. God's steadfast love for you endures forever. That's hard for us to understand, because sometimes we think, why would God put up with us? After the things I've said, the things I've thought, the things I've done, why would God even bother with me? But there's something about knowing more than the person you're dealing with is helpful. The goodness of God, the power of God, the maturity of God, that God is more mature than you are and I am. And that God has decided to love us unconditionally. Now, I'm not convinced that God likes everything that I do or say or think, but I am totally convinced that God loves me with an everlasting love. And his faithfulness, his take it to the bankness to all generations. Now, it's interesting. I really love following the family tree, and I will get on the computer for hours and look back. And it's been interesting in my family to go back and see how faith in Jesus Christ has been important. And it's wonderful to go back and look at all the people who've been people of faith. But it says his faithfulness to all generations. The generations past, yes, but also to this generation, right here, right now, and to all generations, which also includes those in the future. The Mohawk tribe of Native Americans has a teaching, an idea, that what they do today influences 10 generations forward. So how is my faithfulness, my trust and belief in Jesus Christ, going to affect my, ready for this? Great, 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 great grandchildren? How will our lives influence future generations? Because God is faithful through it all. And he uses you, and he uses me. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations, past, present, future. How will your life influence future generations for the cause of Jesus? Something for you to think about.